Hello everyone, welcome. This is Neon. Welcome to Impromptu English with Neon, and today I'm going to talk all about IELTS Writing Task 2. I'll be going over the format, some strategies, and also I will show you one entire sample. So before we start, some small background here. I have got, Alhamdulillah, a band score of 8 in IELTS Writing, and my overall band score was 8.5. And I'm currently serving as a lecturer in English at Green University of Bangladesh, and I have also published my first novel, and it's available at Rakamari and also at the Ekushe Boi Mela. The details and the links will be given in the description. Please subscribe if you want to show your support. Let's start. So before we start, we need to look at these features. So how many words should you write? I think all of you know this. You have to write a minimum of 250 words. It's written in every single IELTS Writing Task 2 question. However, I have suggested you to write 280 words plus. So a minimum of 280 words I would suggest. Why? Why a little more than 250? That's basically because if you look at the writing rubric at the public band descriptors of IELTS Writing Tasks 1 and also 2, you will see that there is a rubric element about task response in Writing Task 2, which is basically that you have to extend your answers properly. So you cannot just write a very small essay. So my suggestion is 280 plus. And what about if you go beyond that? If you write 300, 350, 400, even more than 500 words, is that allowed? Will that reduce your mark? Not necessarily, because there is no upper word limit. Technically, if you write even 1000 words, it will not deduct your marks. However, of course, it is almost entirely impossible to write 1000 words. Even more than 400 words, it's quite impossible to write within the time limit. And also, if you go off topic, if you write about something that is not relevant to the question, then your marks will be deducted. So a safe number of words that you should write is 280 to, you can say 320, 350 if you want to write a lot. Now going to the number of paragraphs. An essay, I think most of you in your childhood had to write about 7, 8, 10 paragraphs or even more. However, in IELTS writing and also in academic writing, when you go to a university, so you will see that they have to be very, very well thought out. You should have one major main idea in every single paragraph. I will talk about that when I go to the body paragraphs, but since you have one major idea, so you should have 2 to 3 major ideas, and one paragraph should be the introductory paragraph and the last paragraph should be the concluding paragraph. There is no overview paragraph like in IELTS Writing Task 1. And if you'd like to know about IELTS Writing Task 1, all about it, then I have a video as well on it. The link is also in the description. So in the first paragraph, what do we do? Just like in IELTS Writing Task 1, at first, the number one thing that we should do is to paraphrase the background information. And just like IELTS Writing Task 1, we should do it within 1 to 2 sentences, not more than that. And we also have to write a thesis statement in the first paragraph. So in the second paragraph, something I think that most of you will not be familiar with is this acronym TEEL, T-E-E-L. So that is basically standing for topic, sentence, explanation, example, and link. There is a dedicated slide for this. Keep watching. So as I said, you can write 4. So if you write 4 paragraphs in total, then the third body paragraph is not required. But sometimes you may find that a third body paragraph makes it a better answer. So we will discuss that. Finally, in the concluding paragraph, here you have to do basically 2 things. First, to restate the thesis statement, which is in the introductory paragraph you had to write a thesis statement, you have to restate it, which means paraphrase your own writing of the thesis statement. Basically this is a summary, and then it is optional, you can give a recommendation within 1 sentence. So there are 5 total types of essays. Number 1, opinion, discussion. 3 is advantages and disadvantages. 2 part question, and finally problem and solution essays. So you can also see that I have given sample questions, or it's not the question but it's the last part of the question, so that you can understand which type of essay it is. So basically opinion essay is if they ask for your opinion. Look at the first one. To what extent do you agree or disagree with this statement? So it's very clearly an opinion essay. However, look at the third one. Do you think the advantages outweigh the disadvantages? Is that actually an opinion essay, or is this an advantages and disadvantages essay? Actually, they are both. However, why did I keep it in opinion but not in advantages and disadvantages essays? This type. The reason is that here what matters is your opinion. You don't have to write about both the advantages and the disadvantages. You can only write about the advantages. You can say that the advantages are overwhelming the disadvantages, or you can say that despite the fact that there are some advantages, the disadvantages are more prominent. And then in the body paragraphs you can only write about the disadvantages. You don't have to write about both advantages and disadvantages. However, in advantages and disadvantages questions, you have to write about both. What are the advantages and disadvantages of this? There will be a scenario, there will be a topic, and you'll have to write about both the pros and the cons. So that's not an opinion essay. However, in even that type of essay, you can be asked to give your own opinion on this. For example, what are the advantages and disadvantages of studying abroad? Give your own opinion. So in that case, you have to talk about both the advantages of studying abroad and its disadvantages. Then you also have to give your own opinion, whether you think there are more advantages or more disadvantages. So it's actually similar. If that happens, that both you have to talk about both sides and also give your own opinion, this is similar to the discussion essay. Read this. Discuss both views and give your own opinion. A question may be something like, there is one group of people who thinks that studying abroad is better, whereas another group of people think that staying in the home country is the better choice. So you have to discuss first one view and then another view, and then you also have to give your own opinion. What do you think? Which view do you support? So let's go to number 4, two-part question. This is basically a combination of two separate questions. For example, why do people choose to go abroad? Do you think this is a positive or a negative development? So basically why, the causes or the reasons, the purposes in one paragraph, and your opinion in the next paragraph. And then finally problem and solution. The first question is about the problem and the second question is about the solution. So this is technically also a two-part question. The first part is about a problem and the second part is about a solution. Then it's called a problem and solution essay. Otherwise, if there are two questions but they are not technically problems and solutions, they are just generally called two-part questions. So you don't have to worry about which question is of what type. Just know that the opinion essay is the most common, and then the discussion essay is the most common, then the advantages and disadvantages essay. So these three types of essays, they come the most in the IELTS test, and sometimes these two also come. So even before we start writing, do you remember that in the video I made about IELTS writing task 1, there was also a slide about brainstorming, and that brainstorming part also acted as a guideline to the entire report, to the entire writing task 1. So also in writing task 2, you should set aside maybe 2 to 5 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes you can say, for brainstorming, and then with the other 35 minutes that you should have, you should write. Maybe you can write within 30 minutes and then also take 5 minutes for checking, for proofreading. So let's do some brainstorming here. This is the question. Let's say many people think that online education is superior to offline education nowadays. To what extent do you agree with this opinion? So this is a very basic topic that I have chosen for you so that you can easily brainstorm. So this is the brainstorming part where we have thought of 4 points for online education, 4 points for offline education. However, do we need all 8 points? What do you think? So in the first paragraph, we just basically paraphrase the background information and write a thesis statement. So in total it will be 2 to 4 sentences. So let's read the background information, how we paraphrased it. Some are of the opinion that education in the online mode is better than that in the offline mode in the present time. So currently online education is better than offline education. That was sort of how the question went, and this is how I paraphrased it. So see, it's the same thing but written in different words. So what about the thesis statement? Basically I will give my own opinion and also talk about the reasons. What are the reasons? So that's what I thought, that availability and affordability. So what is the thesis statement? This is basically the answer to the question. So the question asked for your own opinion, so I gave my own opinion here and also talked about the 2 reasons why I think so. This essay fully agrees with the perspective because of online education's availability and affordability of international courses. So what 2 things did I choose? That it is more available and it is also more affordable. So do you remember that we thought of 4 main points of online education, but we only talked about 2. Why? Because 2 is plenty. You do not need to write about 3 or 4 or even more. And also notice that there is nothing written about offline education, because we are not arguing about that. We are just focusing on why online education is better, but not why offline education has also some benefits. We are not focused on that. So here is the thing about the TEEL method. So it's probably new to you, so please pay attention. As I said, TEEL stands for T for topic sentence, E for explanation, the second E for example, and then finally L for link. So what is the topic sentence? A topic sentence is the overview of the entire argument, of the entire main idea. So do you remember the first main idea? It was about availability. So in online education, more courses, more programs, more degrees are available and you can do it anywhere, anytime. So here's the topic sentence that I wrote. One reason why I believe online education is superior to offline education is that international courses are readily and conveniently available in the former. What do I mean by the former? The former means online education. So here see, online education is superior to offline education. So the first thing that I mentioned is online education, so this is the former. And the second thing that I mentioned is offline education, which is the latter, L-A-T-T-E-R. So since I'm talking about the former, so that's why I meant online education, which is the former. So this is the topic sentence, the basis of my entire paragraph. Then I will explain my point. So I directly explained here. This means in remote and online classes, students and teachers do not need to meet face to face, but can simply participate in the classes from the comfort of their homes or other chosen places. So this is the explanation of this idea. What was the idea? That online education is readily and conveniently available. And this is the explanation, that teachers and students do not need to meet face to face. So here's an example. For instance, the top global universities like Oxford University and Harvard University offer courses which even Bangladeshi people can enroll in without having to move to the UK or the USA. So this is a very direct example. And then finally what's remaining is the link. Therefore, this opportunity of partaking, which means participating, in high-ranking international universities is only possible to most people via the online education route. Because if it was face-to-face, like think of a time before Zoom, before Skype, before Google Meet, do you think it was possible to have live classes? No. Maybe recorded classes, they were possible, but not live classes, live synchronous classes. So this is body paragraph number 2, the same heading, which is the TEEL method. So we will use the TEEL method for all body paragraphs. And in total it will be 4 to 5 sentences, not more than that. So the topic sentence for this body paragraph is, moreover, online education trumps, which means is superior to offline education in terms of its affordability. What is affordability? That it can be relatively cheap. What is the explanation? So I will explain the fact that it is affordable. This means that online education is often quite cheap, especially compared to the offline mode / platform. For example, pursuing an offline course or program may cost thousands of dollars, if not more, which can be comparatively 10 times more expensive than an online one. When someone adds the cost of commuting means going there and coming back, like going to the university and coming home. Not to mention living expenses if the course or program is abroad. Prices soar even higher. So here's the link. Undoubtedly, therefore, the cost of online education is much less than its offline counterpart. Basically, if you didn't notice this before, the link is a link back to the topic sentence. These two sentences, explanation and example, so these are linked back to the topic sentence using the final sentence, which is a link. In the concluding paragraph, we basically only write the restated thesis statement, and if you want, you can also give a recommendation. So what is the restated thesis statement? If you remember the first thesis statement that we wrote, it was in the introductory paragraph and it guided our body paragraphs. So basically, we will summarize the entire essay. In conclusion, this essay has argued for the benefits of online education, namely because of being highly available and affordable. And then if you want, you can add a recommendation. It's completely optional. Overall, the advantages are too significant to neglect, and so people should consider the online mode of learning alongside the traditional one. So at least they can go for a hybrid mode, or they can at least embrace some online education aspects. That's what the recommendation is. Okay, so let's talk about all the essay types, because I only discussed the opinion essay, right? It was an opinion essay that we discussed up until now. So what about the other essay types? Because there are 4 other types of essays: the discussion essay, the advantages and disadvantages essay, the 2-part question essay, and the problem and solution essay. So here is the format for all of them. Introduction plus body paragraph plus conclusion. This is for the opinion essay, as we just discussed. So in a discussion essay, my suggestion for an easy way, for a convenient way to write a discussion essay is to add a body paragraph 3. So add this one. I have highlighted this. And also in advantages and disadvantages, you should add another body paragraph, which means a 3rd body paragraph, only if your opinion is required. As I said when I was discussing advantages and disadvantages essays, that sometimes they will ask you something like, what are the advantages and disadvantages of this? And then they will ask you, give your own opinion. So if your own opinion is required, it's needed, then add a separate paragraph. Do not just write in the conclusion that I believe that the advantages are more. If you only write one sentence about your opinion, then you are not actually answering the question properly, appropriately, sufficiently. In a 2-part question essay, the format is the same as the opinion essay, as well as in the problem and solution essay. There are basically 4 paragraphs that you should write. So what should you write in the 2 body paragraphs? You should write about the first question. You should answer the first question in the first body paragraph, and you should answer the second question in the second body paragraph. That's very simple, I would say. In the problem and solution essay, it's also very similar. You should discuss the problem in the first body paragraph and the solution in the second body paragraph. That's all. I hope it's very easy for you guys to understand the format. It's very important. So before going to the sample essay that I wrote separately from the opinion essay, I would like to go over 7 different strategies for IELTS writing task 2. If you'd like the whole list of strategies, then please comment in the comment section. I will send you the full list, the complete list of my strategies for IELTS writing task 2. Number 1, as I said, write 280 plus words. Though there is no maximum limit, it's wise to stick to this word limit. It's wise to stick to this word count suggestion, because if you go off topic, then you will definitely lose some marks. Number 2, choose only one side. What do I mean? I mean that if the question asks you if the advantages are more or which view do you agree with, then do not talk about both views unless the question asks for you to do so. For example, in a discussion essay, they will ask you to comment on both views and give your own opinion. In that case, you have no choice. However, if you are given a choice like which side do you agree with or to what extent do you agree with this, then please only choose one side, either the advantages or the disadvantages, because it's not a critical thinking test. They're testing your language level and whether you can write in an organized fashion. And also, of course, there is a time limit issue. Number 3, the TEEL method, as I said, because it boosts scores in 2 separate marking criteria. So there are 4 marking criteria in IELTS Writing Task 2: task response, coherence and cohesion, lexical resource, and grammatical range and accuracy. So if you use the TEEL method, then you are definitely guaranteeing high scores in both task response, because you will be sufficiently addressing the question, because you will be adding examples, explanations, and links, and also your coherence and cohesion will be boosted because you are writing in an organized way. Number 4, for lexical resource, as I said that it's a writing criterion. You do not actually need to use any fancy vocabulary. So as you saw my own writing, I could have written in fancy words. I can do that. Alhamdulillah, I've written a book. However, there is no need to do so unless it is very topic specific. Okay, so you do not need to use unnecessary words and vocabulary items. Number 5, comprehensive thesis statement. As I said, you should definitely have a thesis statement at the end of the introductory paragraph, and you should answer the full question even if it takes you 2 sentences. Usually it's 1, but if it requires, then you can go for 2 sentences. And also, complex sentences are the key to a good score in grammatical range and accuracy. Will you believe me if I said that if you use 0 subordinate clauses, then you'll get a band score of a maximum of 3. Can you believe that? So if you get a 3 in grammatical range and accuracy but get 7 maybe in the others, still your 3 in grammatical range and accuracy will bring down your score to maybe a 6 or even a 5.5. Definitely you should use some complex sentences. Even if your grammar is perfect, you will not get over 3 in this criterion. So, and also, if you would like to boost your scores, don't just use a lot of complex sentences, but ensure a variety. For example, it's very easy. Start some sentences with if, when, while. So these 3 only will give you 3 types of complex sentences. They're so easy. Study about complex sentences, just Google it and then try to practice while writing your essays. Finally, linking devices, they are crucial to your score in coherence and cohesion. 2 things are important here. Number 1, the paragraphing that you do. So if you follow my formats, then your paragraphing score will be boosted. And also some cohesive devices such as first, second, regarding, respectively, moreover, while, whereas, therefore, in conclusion. So these are very simple linking devices. If you don't know about them, then please study them. They are very easy to incorporate. So I would say that task response and coherence and cohesion, these 2 are definitely quite easy to score high marks in. You can definitely score at least a 7 in these 2, and if you get maybe a 6 in lexical resource and a 6 in grammatical range and accuracy, then your score will be 6.5, which is more than enough for most people. So this is an IELTS Writing Task 2 sample that I wrote from scratch. University students should learn about other subjects in addition to their main subjects. To what extent do you agree or disagree with this statement? So this is essentially another opinion essay. One argument posits that tertiary level students, which are university students, ought to study courses outside their departments. Despite the time and effort needed to pursue this feat while pursuing a degree in a particular subject, I fervently support the stance since the courses usually mandatory in a university curriculum are general education courses that do not require much specialized knowledge. So this is one of my main ideas and are arguably essential to thrive in the 21st century. This is my second main idea. The first argument that some people give, and one I echo, relates to the general content nature of most courses that are encouraged and offered to university students outside of their core courses. Such subject matter content is quite basic, providing students introductory lessons to computers, general mathematics, and the history of the nation, to cite 3 examples. So this is my explanation and also the examples linked together. Even if some individuals are interested in higher level subjects like advanced statistics, quite deviant from their concentration, which may be law, such course content is not at all made obligatory by any university authority and is simply optional for a minor along the way. So if some people want to pursue courses outside of their department such as advanced statistics, they can do so, but it is not mandatory. It is simply a way for someone to get a minor. Most supplemental courses separate from university students' main subjects, therefore are fundamental and can be completed with relative ease instead of requiring esoteric, which means specialized knowledge. Another argument, perhaps more significant, in favor of students at the university level having to learn about subjects outside of their choosing is that the knowledge gleaned through such courses is fundamentally important to prepare students to face modern life. So this is the topic sentence. It should come as no surprise that success in this digital age hinges on the need to adapt, the resourcefulness of possessing the bare minimum of digital skills, and quantitative and verbal reasoning, to name just a few. Competence in this 21st century skills is vital to thriving in today's competitive professional field, which is something that universities try fostering through general education and extra departmental courses. So I followed the TEEL method in both of these paragraphs. Finally, the conclusion. To conclude, I agree with the statement that there is a need for students at the tertiary level to take extra departmental courses due to the fact that most such courses are relatively low in difficulty and general in scope. So this is the first main idea that I paraphrased, and also because a university qualification in the 21st century ought to, which means should, signify someone's skills not only in their hyper-focused subject choice, but also as global citizens in the broader scale of society. So I wrote only one sentence. I did not write any recommendation. So that's it guys, that was the video. Hope you enjoyed. Many people were asking me like, Neon Bhaiya, please can you make a writing task 2 video? And finally I made one. I tried to make it as detailed but also concise so that it's also friendly for the YouTube algorithm and also manageable for you guys. So next, I think I'll be doing a video on IELTS reading, on how I got a band score of 9 in IELTS reading. So that's it guys, thank you, hope you enjoyed and hope you stay with me on my journey to become more fluent in English. Subscribe guys.